Bull or bear? Let's see what happens. I'm rolling a 1780 Maria Teresa silver coin, and she comes up a bear. Interesting. See what happens tonight in the openings. Good morning, or I should say early afternoon. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Deerfield cam up there. Was at the beach this morning, actually, sitting on a sandbar, sipping my coffee. Water temperature higher than almost as high as the air temperature, but beautiful day out there. And take a look at that. Got a couple, what is that in the background there? Is that a snook? Sure looks like one. All right. Well, let's see. It's been a pretty active week and a pretty active month. I'm going to go over a couple things, and some of you may have seen my video I did with Rafi Farber. Rafi Farber did an interview with me, and it was a lot of fun, actually. Enjoyed it immensely. You know me, I'm not much into interviews, and you get to see part of my face, even though I have the kind of Unabomber thing going on there, someone said, with my baseball cap and my dark glasses, but it was a fun video. And again, I'm going to talk about premiums. I want to talk about stuff going in the news, a little bit of newsy stuff, and what else is going on. We'll go over a few graphs and markets and stuff like that as well. Let's here close this out right here. Man, what a lovely day it is out there. And let me kind of start out with things. You know, one of the things that I speak about frequently is that the silver market, particularly the silver market, is very rigged. You know, I'm a big reader of Ted Butler for years and years, who just recently passed away, and Mr. Butler actually had a huge impact on me on explaining to me what was happening. I knew something was happening. I knew the markets. You know, I'm a physical guy. I'm not someone that's really keen on graphs, and I'm not an analyst by any stretch of the imagination. I don't pretend to be, and I don't pretend to know how the inner workings. You know, how the sausage is made as far as CO2 reports and how spot prices are created and futures and options. I mean, I know more than the average guy, but again, I confess to be no expert whatsoever. And in fact, when I think I know something, it usually leads me into trouble. What I do know is physical markets. I know gold, silver bars, and coins. I'm an expert at that. I'm an expert on how this stuff is bought wholesale and retail and how it's marketed, and you know, what it should look like, what the best deals are. So I have my expertise. But no less, Mr. Butler taught me that how the game was rigged. And again, his archives are available free to read right now, and I think a lot of his stuff will start to be coming out more and more. And once you know how the game is rigged, it's much easier to win. That's just the way it is. So, and I knew the game was rigged. You know, I've been doing this for 4 decades. You know, since I started working with my father in '77, opened this place in '95. So I've been in the business a long time. But you know, I always saw the patterns. I said, you know, this can't be organic the way it's happening. 1980 was certainly not really organic. It was a couple guys that did a market squeeze on COMEX and the LBMA, I think. You know, they legally market squeeze, and I've talked about that before. And 2012 market, which was not organic at all. Organic, it led up to the height in 2012. A lot of people in the business, like myself, understand that market didn't start in 2010 and 11. It started actually in 2002, 2003, or something like that, when we started to see prices, you know, from the $300 to $500 gold, you know, up to $1,000 and above $1,000, up to where we went in 2012. But there was nothing organic about the crash in gold, nothing at all. You know, the gold's move at that time was probably just catching up with currency devaluation, currency depreciation, inflation, whatever you want to call it, and just a huge amount of money that was being pumped out there, especially after 2008, the credit crisis, when people started to flee to gold because it was a secure place, you know, when you can't keep your money in the bank. Again, I might be digressing there a little bit, but my point is that I've known the markets have been rigged, and I could always see it, and Ted Butler explained to me how they were rigged. And once you know how a game is rigged, imagine sitting at a card table, you know, and you know, there's some couple cheats at the game, and usually the cheats, then they're the whales. They got an unlimited amount of money, and they seem to be working together. Imagine you're at a scenario like that. You're sitting at the casino table, and you've got four whales sitting at the table working together to make money together, and they're cheating, and the casino's allowing them to do that. That's exactly what you got going on in the silver market in a nutshell for the average guy. And that's all you need to know, that once you understand the basics on how they're cheating, you realize, and in this particular market, they run it up, and then they run out to manage money, and then they go down, they buy back their shorts, and they made, you know what I'm saying? So once you know how the game is rigged, you can definitely win or stay ahead, all right? Can you beat these guys? Probably not, because they can set the prices. They have the money to do it. However, once you know how they're doing it, you can ride their coattails and probably make just as much money. And at some point, that's going to end too. So their manipulation will end, especially in silver, because, you know, you can't make derivatives. You know, you can't make electronics with derivatives. I've said that many times. Where were we at on the close on Friday? 23.87. I mean, we saw mid 23.50s or so, you know, but gold's hanging on. And are we going to see $2,000 an ounce of gold again? I highly doubt it. Could we see $25 silver? It's possible. We were there not too long ago, and that is a highly manipulated market with actually no regulatory agencies watching it, more or less, or the regulatory agencies, a blind eye towards the criminality of these banks that manipulate the price of silver. So could we see $25 an ounce? Yeah, I think it's completely possible coming up in the summer months right before the year ends, unless we see some other event, or unless the market conditions have truly changed and there is a big shortage of silver out there, which will have a huge impact on prices. Ted Butler said many times that they can manipulate it all they want, and again, as I just said, you can't make electronics out of a derivative. But at some points, physical, which is, and this is kind of my term, I made this term up years ago, that physical is the dog and the derivatives market is the tail, and the tail's been wagging the dog for a long time. But once that physical starts to dry up, and manufacturers and people start, hey, I need silver to make my TVs. I need silver to put in our cars, or whatever it may be. I need silver for the my photo electronic. Once that happens, all bets are off. Silver prices will skyrocket. Physical silver prices. It'll disconnect from the futures market somewhat. But I'm just surprised that. And maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not quite sure, but I'm just surprised that regulators don't see the writing on the wall. What happens when you take a real product like silver, not some product that doesn't really exist, like, I don't want to say Bitcoin, pardon me, but but you know what I'm saying, that's not really has a use, like oil or like gold or silver. Gold has limited uses too, but it is money. Those kind of products, you can derivative the hell out of them all day long. You're not really, no one's going to ask for demand on Bitcoin. I guess cash is what you get on demand, but silver, it's needed. It's a highly used product in our world. So at some point, it's just going to take off and go crazy. All right, platinum, sub $1,000. I like platinum, I still do. Palladium, I don't know much about it, but at that level, you got to like it. I mean, it's really bottom. You got a little bit extra money. I'm thinking I'm throwing it into palladium, even because when do you want to buy things? When they're at their rock bottom. And I don't see palladium and platinum getting much lower, even though we did see a 750 low 800. At some point, the price of gold here and the price of silver is going to pull up the price of platinum as well. I'm not quite sure what the ratio is right now, gold to platinum and silver to platinum, but that'd kind of be interesting to look at. But let's move out of here real quick. Markets are kind of crazy out there. The Dow Jones was all over the place, S&P, silver and gold, and even Bitcoin just all over the place this week. This last week, gyrating every which way, up and down. I think GDP came out pretty good, and some other news came out pretty good. But we all know that they're not going to drop the axe on the current administration economically, and then that means they're not going to put out bad numbers right now, folks. They may adjust them later after the red man gets in there, and that's probably what you're going to see. All right, let's move out of here. It's funny, I don't really pull up this chart anymore because so many people talk about it, but it's kind of fun to watch in the grand scheme of everything. This is the really important chart right here, at least for gold. All right. Gold is money, and gold is kind of a barometer. It's the canary in the coal mine as far as what the dollar is doing. And here's a perfect example of that. I mean, if you laid a gold chart over this, you'd probably see a really direct correlation here. But our last year chart, nothing's getting better, folks. We had that big slide from Yeah, well, here's the when the blue man that just retired, I guess retired, took over right around this point back here. He kind of bottomed out. Then you had that little bump right there, probably just more money being injected in the system. But since then, it's just been a downhill struggle here, and then we're kind of planing off going into here. If we get into a full-blown recession, and I believe we are, certain segments of the industry are in recession and all this stuff. But if it's widely known that we're in a recession, I think that. You'll see that line drop, and obviously gold and silver prices are going to go much higher as well. All right, where was I going? Recession there? Well, we're kind of in a recession here, I believe. But French fries, yeah, I heard there's a French fry shortage out there. That's the first good sign of a recession. Or not a French fry shortage. I heard that at some French fry company that supplies all the major French fry guys out there, Burger Kings and that kind of thing. Their shares just went down dramatically. Their sales dropped off dramatically. So French fry sales are down dramatically, which tells me people aren't eating out as much. Maybe they're eating healthier. No, I doubt that. Just look around you. But all right, boy, we can jump down rabbit holes all the time, and that's probably why some of you like me and some of you don't. Let's take a look at the price of gold now. I wanted to bring this chart out. I haven't brought charts and things out for a long time. Again, I don't believe charts tell you where you're going necessarily. They just tell you where you've been, and it's always nice, sometimes knowing where you've been might tell you where you're going. So if that makes any sense to anyone. However, a lot of times when we see gold charts listed online, and I like macro trends here, by the way, they got some great charts and macro trends, gold, comparative gold charts to silver and all that kind of thing, oil. However, one thing that we don't really talk about is that inflation adjusted, ready? A lot of times when you see the gold prices on charts and stuff like that, it's inflation adjusted. So here you go, inflation adjusted. I don't know how accurate inflation adjusted would be because we're using official numbers, at least they are right here, government's official numbers on inflation, which I think are skewed one way or another, to come up with this inflation adjusted number for the price of gold. But I like to turn that off because really, basically, if it wasn't inflation adjusted, here's what gold's really done as far as activity-wise goes. I mean, just nothing. And in all the 70s, it just exploded to the upside in such an amazing way. And inflation adjusted 1980s for silver is just insane. I mean, think about $50 silver then. That's $500 now. But non-inflation adjusted numbers right here. As you can see, gold is just continually taking off. The market's even got crazier and crazier to just more, and again, we'll put the inflation adjusted in there, and you can see that kind of even things out. But I'm not sure a lot of you know there are two types of charts you see. Mostly you see inflation adjusted charts, which you'll say, well, gold never hit the same height of it is now. Inflation adjusted, and think about what they're saying here. They're saying that gold. Well, here, let me turn that off because let me see what they're showing for gold here. All right, gold hit its high, and that doesn't look right. For some reason, I believe gold hit with. Wouldn't it go closer to like $800 an ounce or something like that? Forgive me, I should know that because I lived through it, but it's been a long time. But if you take a look at it, that's what they're calling inflation adjusted right there. 1980 gold, and again, I want to call it $700-800, so I'm not sure how correct that is, but let's just say $700 if I can hit that right mark there somewhere. And then look, inflation adjusted, then they're calling that $2,159 gold. So let's do a little bit of math here. Follow with me here, if I haven't lost you yet. Divided by 800. Basically, they're saying that it's about 3 times. All right. So the money has lost value. 2.69. So if you take $800 inflation and non-inflation adjusted and you divide it into what they're showing here, inflation adjusted, their official figure is showing that the inflation level has risen basically, or the value of the dollar has dropped 3 times or 2.69 times. That's what their inflation adjusted is. I don't know why I felt compelled to talk to you guys about that, but also I want to show you they do have some really good charts here, and it's for free. So if you want to kind of study some charts here for free, here, let me close that ad there. Macro Trends does have some great charts. Gold price versus oil prices, gold to oil ratio, Dow to gold oil ratio. So there you go, folks, if you want to kind of look at some things. And I think you're going to be kind of surprised what you see here, too, as well. One of the things I always say is, think for yourself and question authority, which means that having data and knowledge and availability of this kind of stuff is important to all you stackers, and myself included. All right, let me get into premiums real quick and discuss what metals are selling for. And, of course, I can't find my premium sheet. Where did it go? All right, you're going to lose me for a half a second as I reach over the desk here. A little bit outdated. I'm not even going to discuss all the different products. I'm going to just tell you that Silver Eagles are still overpriced, too much overpriced. I've got Silver Eagles for sale here at Spot Plus, starting at Spot Plus $450. And I think some of the websites online are way over $450 over Spot. I've got them for sale for Spot Plus $450 at our shop, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. And what else do we got for sale out there? And I'm not quite sure what. I'm not even paying attention to what Atmex, SD, JM, and the other guys are selling stuff for. I know that my prices are cheaper, unless they run a lost leader sale, which, if you can get a lost, hey, listen, if you can get them shipped, if you don't mind them having your address and your phone number, sometimes these companies run lost leaders that are below cost just to get your name and phone number or to blow off excess product at a higher price. So if you can take advantage of that, don't come to me, go to them. Take advantage of them. But meanwhile, if you want everyday good prices, I'll beat SD, Atmex, and JM, and all the other big guys out there included. 90% is a pretty damn good deal out there, folks. I don't think I've seen it this cheap in a long time. I mean, we've got 90% like at Spot Plus $1.25 or less, depending on the quantities that you're buying. Remember 90% constitutional silver was running that, $2 and $3 and $4 and $5, up to $5 over Spot at one point. It might have been higher. Kind of forget now. And 100-ounce bars, another good deal. Spot Plus maybe $1.25 or less on 100-ounce bars. And again, premiums on silver are just really, really reasonable. I mean, across the board, again, except for Silver Eagles. And if you want Silver Eagles, I'll still beat the guys' prices out there by quite a bit. But when you can buy stuff at $1.25 over, why would you look at Silver Eagles at Spot Plus, even though my price is great? Spot Plus $4.50. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And again, maples, blah blah blah. Speaking of Silver Eagles, I have heard through the grapevine that the wholesale price has gone up like 10 cents, which is no big deal really to the retail public, because 10 cents is nothing. It's a pimple on an elephant's butt. Compared to the already too much $3.05 wholesale they're getting for them, which is ridiculous. All right, gold. What's the best deals in gold out there? I'm going to say Gold Eagles are very reasonably priced right now, comparatively speaking to other products, but you still can't beat Krugerrands. I mean, Krugerrands are like, at most Spot Plus $85, and again, we'll beat the big boys online. But gold, the premiums have stayed pretty consistent for the last couple of years. There's been really no shortage of gold. Well, there was for a little bit when premiums went up, 2021 or something like that, when there was just no product during the closures and everything. But, pretty much most of the period of time, it's been cheap. Now, I got to admit that the bid side on gold products is still really, really cheap too. So it is not a seller's market. It's not a seller's market in gold or silver right now. If you're going to go up and sell, you're going to get hammered because the wholesale bids are under spot on a lot of these products. But it is a good buyer's market for sure. A lot of this stuff is cheap as it's been in a long time. And again, especially Krugerrands and things, Philharmonics. Look at the prices on these things. All right. Well, anyways, good deals out there, folks. If you're looking for a good deal and you live in South Florida, come to our store, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We've been here since 1995. I've been doing this since '77. Great staff, small little store, but we are a powerhouse. Remember, we live in a wealthy area. And, the thing about being successful in business is keeping your expenses low, and I've been really cheap. So, excuse me, I got a tidy store. I never went and expanded. I just kind of kept us where we are at right now. But we look like a small store, but we are very powerful. We can do large deals if anyone needs them out there. All right. And we do all the time. All right, and small deals. We treat our small guys just like we treat our big guys here too. And I got to tell you, that's true. We treat the guy that's buying 1 ounce the same as we treat the guy that's buying 1,000 ounces or 10,000 ounces or that kind of deal. All right, premiums. I'm out of premiums right now, and hey, let's talk about my interview with. Yep, that's me, man. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to put you through looking at this right here. I'm not one of those. Speaking of why you never see me on my own videos, it's a couple reasons. I'm not too fond of looking at myself, number one. So if I'm not too fond of looking at myself, I don't imagine other people are. So I have I'm under no illusion of that. Okay. And I like my anonymity somewhat, even though if someone wanted to see what I look like, I could find. So there's your reason why you get to see me for the first time ever, my face, my ugly mug on a video, or most of it. There was a comment down here that said I kind of had a Unabomber look. I would have to agree with that a little bit, but anyways, I had a great time discussing this topic with Rafi, and he's got a real ability for titles, that's for sure. Hot sauce, cannibalism, elephant zits, and other gold and silver topics with Brian Kuzmar. And again, very, very fun. I enjoyed the conversation. A little nervous at first. I'm not used to doing this kind of stuff, but as I kind of got towards the middle of the end of it, I think I kind of smoothed out, and my comfort level got even better. Sure, I'd like to do another one with him sometime again. But our topic was, I think, Rafi, and I'll tell you how we kind of met here, is I had a conversation that I don't think anyone would, I would say people will never use 90% silver or that kind of stuff in trade for commerce, when end times. And that's what Rafi Farber is. His thing is the end game investor, and he talks about what happens when the dollar is just dead and is done, and they have to replace it with something else. And he, his contention is that they can trade silver coins for food and all kinds of things. Excuse me, let me get a sip here. My video, I pretty much said nope, nope, nope. And again, I have to preface that I did tell Rafi that that was an absolute comment that I made, and that there are some reasons and places that barter could very well happen. But I always explained that in my neighborhood and in major metropolitan areas and major cities and towns where you've got 1.5 million people in a 25 square mile area, whatever it is, that no, it's not going to be. There's going to be I won't say blood in the streets, but you're going to need your hot sauce because if you're not eating someone, they're going to be eating you. And also the elephant, you'll have to see what the elephant zits refers to in the other topics. But great video by Rafi Farber. Thank you, Rafi. Appreciate it very much. And if you get a chance, make sure you like and subscribe to his channel as well, which I have too. Let's see here. You see my thumbs up there, and subscribe, of course. And let's move over to some news and stuff here. What's going on in the world? As much as I'm not really. I don't have a horse in the race. I really don't, even though I like this man better than the man that just retired. And that doesn't mean I think this man is ideal. And I kind of think this is just really, in my opinion, it's really just a campaign promise, no different than this person right here wanting to give away free schooling and forgive debts for school and all that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what you got here. You got, in my opinion, you got vote buyers. That's what they do. But that's politics, man. You can't blame any of them for doing that. That's just the way the system works. They use campaign promises to buy votes, and one does it, the other one has to do it. I guess that's maybe the flaw in our system as well. I hope so. I'd like to see that for sure. And this is kind of interesting. This changes a lot of things, folks. It becomes very interesting. There are big seismic changes happening in Europe, and it's going to start with some of these countries that are kind of fed up with the centralization of European governments and unelected officials in Brussels telling them what to do and where to spend their money. I think you're going to see big upsets in Europe as far as things changing, just like we're seeing here in this country. And they're going to be throwing their clout behind a lot of different things here. So things are changing out there, folks. The world is changing in a major way. Here's a topic that we've talked about for 3 years ago in videos. I was talking about the weaponization of the U.S. dollar, and now it's going to bite us in the ass. Well, here we are. Am I right? Here we are. It's not a topic I haven't talked about not a million times, but many times in past topics. And again, this is good for the price of gold. It's good for the price of silver because it creates there's not that free flow of trade. There's not that free flow of money. You've got you've got pockets of areas in the world that are going to freeze each other's money. I mean, it's become the warfare has started. I mean, we are at war with Russia, and that shouldn't surprise you. Economic, financial war. We have been for a while now, and there's many reasons for that, including that I think that Europe and the United States sees Russia as a huge continent with wonderful resources that we would love to have access to, and we're not going to have access to them when a man that is mostly a nationalist, Mr. P, is a nationalist, he loves his country, I guess, is not going to allow Western and European business interests to come in and dissect his country up. And but so anyways, there you go in a nutshell. All right, well, boy, you're getting it all today. This just needs to end right here. This whole deal needs to end. 500,000 youngsters and old folks, just the old folks. The average age of the recruit now in the Ukraine is what, 40 or something like that. They've killed all the young people have left, or they're dead. I mean, it's just sad, folks, man. But anyway, times are changing, and when the times are changing like this, and things are just going crazy, gold and silver are a good thing to own, in my opinion. Really. All right, so here we go. I've actually been spending a lot of time on. There we go. Spending a lot of time on Twitter, X, and. Read This and Be Smarter was my most recent article. If you are on X or Twitter, please take a chance. We get a chance to read this right here. It's really, really good. It's Ted's article that he wrote some time ago about how these markets are manipulated. And I'm going to kind of read this little quote here. As a reminder, for some of you folks that haven't listened to my talk millions of times about how they do it, and Ted talking about it, and me reading his talk or reading his writing, as a reminder, the basic tenet is that the commercials always sell on higher prices and buy on lower prices, not simply because they're astute traders, but because they collusively stick together and make the managed money traders come to the commercials when buying or selling. And yes, it's a racket that the regulators should have busted up years ago and decades ago, but it is precisely because the scam has gone on for so long that regulators dare not speak up now and reveal a massive regulatory failure to this point. If you'd like, you can pause this video right here. Hit the pause button, and I'll kind of just scroll down here so you can kind of read the whole article rather than go to my, what is it? Let's see, I think I can get the whole thing on there for you. And there we should be. Man, it is a little bit longer than I thought, but there you go. You should be able to get the whole thing right there, folks. And I'm having a lot of fun out here. There is a lot of very smart people. I love this platform. I just wish their video section was much better, because I'd rather post videos out here, honestly, just because of the free speech platform that has become because of X than where I've been posting them, or where I'm posting them now, quite frankly, because of censorship issues. And I don't feel good supporting a company that censors. But anyway, no less, the 800-pound gorilla out there, got to do it. Get the word out. But I have been doing a lot of stuff out here. Here's my profile if you'd like to take a look. Brian Kuzmar, and some of you guys out there are talking. I'm talking to you on my comment section out here, and I enjoy it. This is a great place if you want to talk to me and BS with me and ask me questions. You can catch me here on Twitter for sure, and it's a free speech platform. As long as you don't want to hurt me and say that, you can say whatever you want, ask me whatever you want, unlike other platforms. All right, folks, that's it. I'm going to go to the gun range, believe it or not, with a couple of friends of mine, some employees, Sunday shooting. And what I do want to say is think for yourself, as I always say, and question authority, and question yourself first, because we've been lied to since birth. This is a fact, and sometimes people just give us bad information and we take it for the truth. So question yourself first, then question authority, and of course, always think for yourself. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, give us a call. We are brick and mortar in South Florida. We'll beat the locals, and we'll beat the big guys out there online pretty much for the most part. And if you don't live in South Florida and you're looking to do larger deals, because I don't have a website to do smaller deals and stuff, I can still do large deals for some of you whales out there looking to buy gold and silver and platinum and beat these guys as well and give you good service. All right, that's it. Have a beautiful Sunday. Let's see what happens to the markets tonight, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks.